Hi friends, it's Miss Cheryl. I hope you guys are doing good and you guys all had a good holiday break and you guys got to do some fun stuff. I'm back today. I have a new book again. It's called The Mitten is the title. And then down at the bottom, our author and illustrator is a lady named Jan Brett. So here we go. Just remember, eyes are watching, ears are listening, and voices are quiet. So you guys are able to listen to my story. So again, the book is called The Mitten. Let's see what happens with Mitten. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. So here's Nicky, and then we'll learn who this is on our next page. But at first his grandma, who he called Baba, did not want to knit white mittens. She said, "If you drop one in the snow," she warned, "you'll never find it. Because if it's white in white snow, it's going to be hard to see." But Nicky, he wanted some snow white mittens. And finally, Baba, she made them for him. After she finished, she said, "When you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound. But then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens." So Nicky went off, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. So here he is. He walked all the way across. He made his footprints in the snow. And then right here next to the trunk of the tree is one of the mittens that he lost. Let's see what happens and if he finds it. A mole who was tired from funneling along discovered the mitten, and he burrowed. He climbed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size. So he decided to stay. So I'm going to bring it up a little bit closer. So there's the mole, and he found the mitten, so he climbed inside. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then when he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in, feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them. But then he saw the rabbit's big kickers. He moved over. So the rabbit decided to go in the mitten too, and he kind of went backwards. His feet went in first, so he kind of scooched backwards, right next to the mole. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along, having spent the day looking under wet leaves for something to eat. He decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickers, they made room. So there goes the hedgehog. He's going in next. He's number 3. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by all the commotion or noise, swooped down. Then he decided to move in also. The mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's glintly saloons, they quickly let him in. So if you guys are noticing how big the mitten is getting, at the very beginning it was small, and then as the animals go in, it's going bigger. Up through the snow appeared a badger. He looked and eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl, they were not very pleased. They weren't very happy about it. There was no room left. But when they saw his diggers or his claws, they gave him the thumb, like, "All right, come on in." It's got to be pretty tight and cozy in there. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate. So he was checking it out. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy, so he started feeling kind of tired. The fox poked his muzzle or his nose in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. That mitten's got to be getting pretty full. We have quite a few animals in there. Next, a great big bear lumbered by. He spied or noticed the mitten all plumped up, so he noticed that the mitten was getting bigger as well. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to use his nose to nuzzle his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be, but what animal would argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It got bigger and bigger. It was pulled and bulged too many times its size. But because that grandma made such a good knitting, it held and it stayed together. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wriggled into one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great big bear's nose. So I'm going to bring it in closer, because there's the mouse on top of the bear's nose. The bear, it tickled the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Achoo! The sneeze was so strong, shot the mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions. So look at, they're no longer in that mitten. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was his lost mitten up against the blue sky. So here's Nicky, and then he notices mitten. As he ran to catch his snow white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and when she saw that he still had his new mittens. So let's see, right up here, up against the window is his grandma or his Baba looking at him. Last page. And the end of the book is his Baba or grandma looking at the mittens. I wonder if she's noticing the one in her hand on her left side. That's a lot smaller than this one. And I'm noticing her face. I wonder if she's thinking, well, why are they different sizes? She didn't know all those animals climbed inside together. So, all right, my friends, that is this book called The Mitten. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next week. Bye.